Hello and welcome back to my channel and to another reading vlog. This vlog also has no theme, same as my last one. I'm just going to read whatever I'm in the mood for. I do have a TBR for April, so I most likely will be reading from that. My last video, or second last video, was pulling my April TBR picks from my TBR jar, so hopefully I can try and stick to those books. But the book I'm currently reading is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wang, and this is an adult dark academia fantasy standalone book. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm a third of the way through and I'm kind of wanting to try to finish it today because technically I was supposed to finish this back in March. Like I was capable of finishing it back in March, but I just didn't. I just put it off and put it off, even though I am enjoying it. I'm going to try and finish this today because I think it's time that I move on to another book soon. But I have like just over 200 pages of this left, but that is doable for me, so we'll see. But basically, this is set in a world where there's this city, and the city is protected by this magical dome or veil thing. And it is basically created and run by these magical high mages who basically use like science and alchemy to create spells, and those spells help uphold the dome, which keeps the city safe from the cold and the weather, but also this disease called the blight, which is pretty deadly. And the main character is the first female high mage. She had to basically pass these really tricky exams to get that position, and because she's the first one, her co-workers treat her pretty badly, and as a prank she's supposed to have this lab assistant. They all get assistants, but they give her one of the janitors who's like not qualified for the job to be her assistant, but she just accepts him for the job anyway instead of trying to get a new one. And he's actually from a group of people called, I think they're called the Quen. They basically used to live in the land outside of the city, but because of the blight, they basically started dying. They were getting infected and lots of them were dying, so they made like the perilous journey to try and get into the city. But they're basically like a minority group there and they're treated pretty badly, and most of them can't get jobs above like basic janitor roles. So I think the conversations they're having so far about how like the main character is obviously facing misogyny because she's the first female high mage and a lot of her male co-workers are just not treating her right, but she, despite that, she's failing to see how she is also being prejudiced against her lab assistant and his people. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying it so far, so hopefully I'll try and get it finished today and then I can move on to another book finally. I was not expecting that to happen. I was not expecting that ending. I enjoyed this. I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. There were some aspects I didn't love, but overall I did really enjoy this. And honestly, I kind of flew through it despite it taking me like multiple days to read. But when I was reading it, I was reading it really fast, which is unusual for a high fantasy for me. Like it didn't take easing into or like a long time to get into it, if that makes sense. I really like the two main characters, especially Thomal, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Siona, she took a while to warm up to, but it's supposed to be that way. Like she's not supposed to be likable at the start, but she like grows and learns a lot of things throughout the book, and then becomes like a much better person. I also feel kind of mixed on the ending. I did kind of like where it went because I wasn't expecting it, but I also feel like it could have went further, if that makes sense. I feel like more stuff could have happened. I really liked the main characters and their conversations, and I was also really interested in the world building. I think that was like my main issue was the magic system, because not there was anything like objectively wrong with it, I just didn't find it that interesting. Maybe it's because it was like quite science based, or like it was kind of to do with like alchemy and stuff, and the way it was described was just quite convoluted, and there was a lot of info dumping, so I just didn't really get it a lot of the time. It kind of went over my head or just wasn't that interested. And a lot of the twists in the book and the main plot of the book is to do with how the magic system functions, and like the problems with that. So whilst I did understand like the plot points that were to do with the magic system, I didn't quite understand the magic itself, if that makes sense. But I understood it an okay amount to like get the book. That's probably just my biggest issue, is that the magic system wasn't exciting enough for me, I guess. And also was like more focused on the magic system than the world building. I feel like we could have got more world building, like more about the city and the history of it and how it functions and the world outside the city and the different cultures. I feel like that would be really interesting. But it was like 20% that, 80% all of this alchemy, scientific spell work stuff that I it just kind of went over my head. But overall, I did enjoy this. I also liked how the last chapter of the book kind of mimics the first chapter. I thought that was quite bittersweet in a way. And my favourite character, Thormal, he got what he deserved because I I really liked him. But yeah, this makes me excited to read The Sword of Kaigen. I loved her writing style. It was a lot more like sharp and fast paced. I thought for some reason, because it's an epic fantasy or a high fantasy, it would be like too wordy, and the only times it got too wordy was just when it was explaining the magic system basically. But other than that, it was very fast paced writing. I don't know what I'm going to read next. I might read the first Paladin's Grace book because it's a bit of a tonal shift, because that's like a fun, cozy romantasy book, so I feel like it could be a good vibe switch. I actually haven't got that much reading done of Paladin's Grace yet. My plan is to read at least 100 pages of it tonight. It's currently 9 p.m, so hopefully I can get that done. But I do have a little unboxing to do. I just realised I was holding the box round backwards. But it's a Lumicrate unboxing. This is not my monthly subscription. I actually haven't gotten my subscription from there since like September. But I'm getting the April book, I think. Yeah. But this is just a random pre-order of the third book in a series. The first book is called Little Thieves. And this is the third book. I've not even read the second book yet, but I love the first one. And these editions, the naked hardbacks, are so stunning. So I'm going to open this. I do know what it looks like because they showed it on their Instagram, but I had to buy it because I've heard great things about the sequels to this series, and I was waiting on reading the first one, so I didn't have to wait too long for the third one. So now I can read the whole series, and I'm gonna have to reread the first one because it's been over 2 years now. So they have redesigned the cover or changed the color scheme, and I actually do prefer the original one. It's a lot more vibrant and has more like pinks and purples to it. This one's a bit more muted, and I've never been like a huge fan of the edges of this series. They're all the same, just different colorways. Yeah, not my favorite, but the reason I get these books, oh, it's signed as well, or it comes with a signed book plate, but the reason I get these books is the naked hardbacks are so stunning, and the artwork on them is actually done by the author, which I think is really cool. Just wrecked the dust jacket. Look at that. It's so stunning. I love the colour schemes, and now I have all three editions and they all match, but they have different artwork on each one. I just absolutely love the colour scheme. It's so pretty. This is kind of more the vibe of the original dust jacket cover, before the Illumicrate changed it. So I do prefer this. Overall, I'm happy with this edition. Now I actually need to get to reading instead of just unboxing and buying books. Hello, I am back. It's been 2 days since my last clip because I was working all day yesterday, and basically I cannot read on the days that I'm working. I technically can, but I just can't be bothered. But I did get a decent amount into this 2 nights ago. Like I got over halfway through, and then I only had 150 pages to read today, and I've already done it. Because this was a really quick read, because it is fantasy, but it does lean more into the romance side of things. And honestly, it's got kind of like cozy fantasy vibes as well, but slightly higher stakes and like slightly more horror elements than a typical cozy fantasy, which I like. I much prefer that than like a very slice of life cozy fantasy. But I'm gonna give this like a 3.75/4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I loved the writing style. I liked the two main characters. I liked where the plot went as well. I just didn't like absolutely love it or really connect to it that much, but I still enjoyed it and I like where it went. And I also did like the more darker aspects to it as well. Like both the main characters are very wholesome, but the darker elements are like there's a serial killer on the loose who's just going around decapitating people basically, and the main character steps on like someone's head at some point. Like it gets dark, which I did appreciate. I don't know, I feel like it's similar to like in vibe to the, I think it's called like Lady Scoundrel series by India Holton. The first book is like something to do with piracy and tea, something like that. I read the whole like trilogy in 2023 I think, but it had kind of those quirky vibes but just slightly less crazy and silly. I also realised I pitched this book wrong. I said that they have to go on the run because the synopsis mentioned something about like being stalked by a killer, and for some reason I thought that meant they were on the run and travelling about, because I have heard, maybe it's another T. Kingfisher book, but I have heard like one where a couple do have to travel about, but that was not this book. They basically get involved in an assassination attempt and get muddled up in that, but they are very much like in the same or similar locations throughout the book. They're not running away from anything. But now I have to choose my next read and I have no clue what to choose, because I could continue this series or choose another book on my April TBR or choose a completely random book, and I have no clue what I'm in the mood for. I'm next to my TBR cart just now and I really don't know what I'm in the mood for. I do have the rest of the Paladin's Grace series down here, so the next book would be Paladin's Strength. I think this is the second book, which is a bit chunkier. I actually don't know how long it is. The first book was only like 350 something pages and this one is 423. That's still not that long. The chapters are really short as well. Yeah, there's 51 chapters. So I actually don't know. I think they're companion novels. This definitely doesn't follow the same couple from the first book. I don't know if it's characters we already know. Okay, it's characters we already know. I recognise at least the guy's name. I'm not sure about the girl, Clara, unless I just completely missed her in the first book. But this one seems to be following the main character in the first book, Stephen. He is a paladin and he has a bunch of paladin friends, and this one follows one of his friends. So this is definitely an option. I just baked some banana bread, so I'm gonna give it a taste test and see. I haven't baked banana bread since like 2021. It doesn't look too good. No. Well, that was a fail. So I did decide to pick up Paladin's Strength and I'm about 50 pages into it now, and it definitely throws you into the action quicker than the first book. But I've met the two main characters so far, and this one they're on the run. I don't know if I got the first book mixed up with this one or another book, but yeah. I'm definitely enjoying it so far, and I'll see if I like it as much or more than the first one. But I'm going to wrap up this vlog here because it's getting quite long. And I have read like 2 and a bit books in this vlog, and I only started it 4 days ago. So that's good for me because recently I've been reading like 1.5 books a week, which is still a decent amount, but for me that's quite minimal. So I'm trying to read more, and yeah, hopefully I can get this book finished soon. And I will have another reading vlog at some point. Sorry this one that wasn't that entertaining, like I didn't go book shopping or anything, which I usually like to do for a vlog, just to like put that in there, but I'm on a book buying ban right now and I just didn't have a chance. But the next vlog I'm meeting up with one of my Booktok friends and we will be going book shopping, of course, because what else would two Booktok friends be doing? So hopefully that one will be a bit more entertaining. But yeah, overall, I call it a success. I had two 4-star reads and I'm enjoying this one so far. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Let me know if you like the vlogs because I actually really like filming them in comparison to sit down videos. They feel, even though they take longer, they feel like less time because I only film them in like short spurts and I edit as I go versus like filming a 20-minute video and then having to edit it for an hour straight. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this.